Welcome to the Take Note podcast. In this episode, it comes out of a season of life where slowing down wasn't optional for me. It was necessary. My days look different now. I wake up early, not because I'm trying to be impressive or productive, but because it's the quiet space I have before the house wakes up. I homeschool, I run my business differently than I used to. I've had to simplify in ways I didn't plan for. And in the middle of it all, my relationship with Scripture changed. For a long time, I believed the most important thing to do with the Bible was to apply it immediately. Read the passage, find the takeaway, figure out what I needed to do differently. That approach was usually framed as faithfulness. And I want to be clear. There was a sincere desire to obey God. The intention was good. But as my life slowed down, I started to notice how often application came before understanding. When that happens, Scripture can quietly start working for us instead of shaping us. I didn't have the words for it at the time, but I can see now how often I was encouraged to respond quickly, sometimes emotionally, without ever being invited to pause and ask, who is this being spoken to? Why is this here? And what's happening around these words? Scripture felt demanding instead of steady. And over time, that kind of reading became exhausting. But slowing down changed that. When I stopped rushing to apply and started paying attention to context, something softened. Obedience no longer felt like pressure. It began to look more like trust. I realized I didn't need Scripture to tell me what to do right away. I needed it to show me who God is first. One passage that helped me to see this clearly is Ephesians 4:13. I had heard this verse so many times, often used to encourage pushing harder or trying more, and there is encouragement there. But when I finally slowed down and read what comes before it, I noticed something different. Paul isn't talking about achievement. He's talking about contentment. He's reflecting on what he's learned through seasons of need and abundance, not what he's accomplished. That context didn't lessen the verse, it grounded it. Understanding came first, and application followed quietly without urgency. If you're taking notes as you listen, you might read Philippians 4:10-13 and simply circle what Paul says he has learned, not what he's achieved. This way of reading became especially important for me after walking through seasons where Scripture was used quickly, but not carefully, where verses were applied without context. The results didn't bring clarity or peace. Learning to read slowly gave me permission to pause, to ask questions, to sit with uncertainty, to wait before deciding what a passage meant for my life. And here's what surprised me most. Obedience didn't disappear when I stopped rushing to apply. It became clearer. When I understand who God is in a passage, how he's acting, what he's revealing, my response becomes steadier, less reactive, less anxious, less driven by urgency. Faithful living started to flow naturally from clarity instead of pressure. And that has shaped not just how I read Scripture, but how I live day by day. Here's a question I return to often, especially in this season in my life. What is this passage revealing before I ask anything of me? Sometimes the answer isn't an action at all. Sometimes it's simply understanding, seeing God more clearly before turning inward. That kind of understanding forms us quietly over time, often without us realizing it right away. Faithful living isn't about reacting quickly to Scripture. It's about responding honestly after the text has been heard. If this way of reading feels slower than what you're used to, you're not behind. You're learning something that takes time. I'm still learning too. And if you like a place to practice reading this way, where understanding is allowed to come first, the End of Beginning study inside the Take Note community is always available. It's designed for real life, for returning, for staying. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm grateful to be walking this season along with you, one careful passage at a time.